Fox News alert now. 2 Americans fighting for the Israeli Defense Forces have been confirmed dead at this hour, and Hamas showing no signs of letting up. So why are so many liberals in some cases here in the U.S. painting Israel as the bad guy? Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, a Fox News contributor, is wanting the same thing. He says they've got it all wrong. First, listen to Bill Clinton.
Over the long run, it's not good for Israel to keep isolating itself from world opinion because of the absence of a viable peace process.
So, Bill Clinton, does he speak for a lot of people out and about in this world, Colonel?
I think what you see happening, the protests over in Paris, France, and London, and the protests you see in front of the White House, they're undermining Israel's credibility in conducting this operation. Prime Minister Netanyahu said it very succinctly when he said that Israel is using its missiles to protect its people, but Hamas is using its people to protect its missiles. Hamas is a non-state, non-uniform, belligerent terrorist organization. Why should anyone want to side with an Islamic terrorist organization against a sovereign nation state? And what we have to understand is that when the Israelis dragged their citizens out of Gaza and turned it over to the quote-unquote Palestinians, they sought peace. And what they have gotten in return is incessant rocket fire. They have these tunnels that we believe up to 36 tunnels have been identified. And this has to stop. We would not tolerate that in the United States of America.
They don't know when the next tunnel is going to pop up right in the middle of Israel proper. And that happened this morning, we understand, and 4 Hamas militants have been killed. That's the ultimate terror. You don't even know if the ground you're walking on is really the basis of a tunnel. The last one, Mr. Shalit, was kept captive for 6 years. Yeah. They wonder if it's going to be them tomorrow. But, Colonel, the one thing about this that I think is heartening to us in the West is that there's not one Arab leader who's condemning Israel for this push into Gaza. In fact, Egypt is almost supporting it. And even the Palestinian people are saying, what happened to the rallying point? Is Hamas's strategy of getting the Arab world and the Muslim world to rally around them backfiring?
Well, I think what you see happening in the Islamic world is a drive for Islamic terrorism and totalitarianism against the secular leadership. You saw that in Egypt with the Muslim Brotherhood rising up. You see that happening with the opposition forces like the Islamic State or ISIS and what they're doing going against Bashar al-Assad and the threats that they're making against Jordan. So al-Sisi has stood up against the Muslim Brotherhood. He has cut off the tunnels of Hamas, which is the Palestinian arm of the Muslim Brotherhood, and they're also supplied and resourced by Iran. So we do have an ally in Egypt, but the sad thing is that you have an Obama administration that is withholding support to Egypt at this time when they were providing tanks and jets to the Mohammed Morsi Muslim Brotherhood Egypt government.
And we're up against the clock, but Colonel, are you concerned that Secretary of State Kerry rushing to the region will push Israel into a truce that will stop their objectives from being realized?
Absolutely. And the thing is this, how can you have a ceasefire and a truce with a terrorist organization whose charter, whose whole reason for existence is to exterminate the Jewish state and to kill every man, woman, and child of Jewish descent and in Israel? So why would we want to have a ceasefire negotiation with them? Because it just means that you'll come back 6 months, a year from now, and have to do this all over again. We need to crush Hamas. We need to support Israel in doing that.
Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, still